Welcome back, YouTube. This is Modern Merfolk, or Modern Fish, as a lot of my friends call it. This is a very tempo deck, very fun, gets around a lot, at the same time it's open to a lot. So I'll dive right into the creature base. 1-drop slots, yep, 4 Curse Catcher. Plain simple, 1-drop, 1/1, sack 'em counter, instant or sorcery unless they pay 1. He's better in the early game control matchups. Some Splinter Twin matchups he's really good in. Silvergill Adept. It's a 2/1 for 2. As additional cost to play him, reveal a Merfolk or pay 3. Unfortunately, the paying 3 does become relevant. And when he hits the field, you get to draw a card. It's tempo. There's no other definition. Alright, you got Master of the Pearl of Trident and Lord of Atlantis. They are double blue to play, 2/2s. Both give +1/+1 island lock to your Merfolks. A lot of decks in Modern run island. It's a really good thing. The Abzan matchup we'll get to in a moment. 3 drops, you've got 4 Mirror Readry. Whenever you play a Merfolk spell, let me get it in focus here. You may tap or untap target permanent. Becomes real good to tap down Siege, Rhino, Tarmogoyf, or whatever, and then Alpha Strike. And he gives your other stuff +1/+1. It is a 3-drop, which is the top of our curve, so it's okay. I do run 1 Merfolk Sovereign. It's a Lord again, so that puts our Lord count up to 13. He has the ability to tap to make target Merfolk unblockable. Can't get Island Walk, you have a 1-of. I do run 1 Thassa because I built this off of the Legacy build, and Thassa's won me games before because making a 5/5 unblockable seems really good. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. That saved so many times in matches, especially in the control and the burn matchup. So, non-creature spells. In our 1-drops, we have 4 Aether Vials. Basically, they can't counter things, and Silvergill draws a card without paying anything else, so it's good. 1 Spell Pierce, counter target non-creature spell unless you pay 2. Really good, don't usually board that out. Stubborn Denial. This is the new up-and-coming card. Invest in this card. Counter target non-creature spell unless they pay 1. Ferocious. Counter it if you have a creature with power 4 or greater. 13 Lords. It's not hard. I do run 1 Vapor Snag and 1 Reality Shift. Vapor Snag, you bounce a thing to their hand, they lose a life. The reason why I decided to run 1 of Reality Shift is because it exiles and doesn't go back to their hand. However, they do get to manifest the top card of their library, which I don't think we usually care about because our Lords are 2/2s. At worst, we trade a Silvergill with it. I run 3 Remands. Just return things to their hand, draw a card, so you don't have to deal with it right then. Now, this card is insanely broken, especially if they don't run islands. Spreading Seas. You enchant a land, draw a card when it hits the field, and enchanted land becomes an island. It is nothing more than an island. It makes Tron go down. It makes Abzan cry. If they're really color fixed, this card stops it. I've won games because of this card. I've actually had on turn 6, play Spreading Sea, draw Spreading Sea, draw into another Spreading Sea. They only had 4 land. It was funny. Alright, land base. Oh, nope, I forgot cards. 2 Echoing Truth is our last 2-drop non-creature spell. It's return target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent to their owner's hands. Basically, what it's saying, it's Maelstrom Pulse that bounces for 2 at an instant speed. It's a 2 of, it's really good. Alright, Monastery Siege is kind of a newer addition. It's a 3-drop enchantment. When it hits as it enters the battlefield, choose Khans or Dragons. If you choose Khans, which you do in like the Boggle matchup, more than anything really, it's draw a card at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card, and then discard a card. So you're drawing 2, ditching 1 every turn. Cycling your deck is really bad, really good for you, really bad for your opponent. Or Dragons in the burn, control, Abzan, what have you matchup. Spells your opponents cast that target you or a permanent you control are 2 more to cast. Burn really hates this card. Typically they don't run main board hate. So yeah. Alright, land base. I run 10 islands. Why do I run 10 islands? Because I have an Aborto Palace in the skies and will soon have a Menomino School at the water edge. The reason I do that for blue sources is to really play around choke. I don't care so much about Blood Moon with 10 islands. Their other abilities are kind of pointless to you, except Minamo, you can untap Thassa. That's about all you really want to do with it. 4 Mutavolts, because it's Animated Merfolk, Swing Island Walk, become a land again. Yeah. Or it's a 2/2 blocker. So 3 Cavernous Souls, because again, if your stuff can't be countered, it keeps your tempo really well, and it gives you the blue source you're looking for. Alright, going over to sideboard. Alright, this is sideboard, sort of. I'm going to start with the graveyard hate that every deck has. I run Tormod's Crypt because 0 drops are really good, and why not? 2 mana leaks for if you need more control, 2 Torpor Orb for Twin, Tidebinder Mage for Burn or Abzan matchup. Pithing Needle, really, you can bring that in against almost any deck in Modern. Especially Affinity, I really like it, because you can name Inkmoth, Blinkmoth, Cranial Plating, Arcbound Ravager, Steel Overseer, etc. You turn off their big stuff, you don't have to worry about it later on. Alright, these are actually 2 Spellskite, again for like the Twin matchup or the Abzan matchup, or Burn matchup. The reason they're islands right now is because I have not yet gotten them, they are in the mail. Sorry. 1 Trick Bind, just to be silly. I'm sure there's better I can run, but I really like countering abilities. It's hilarious to watch their face. 2 Chalice of the Void. This is a powerful card that you can play around. You turn it on 1, you turn it on 2. Really don't go higher than that. Why I say you don't go higher is because it's 6 mana or more at that point, and it's not worth it. You probably just don't bring it in then. So Chalice is double X to play, enters with X charge counters on it. Whenever a player casts a spell equal to the number of charge counters on it, counter that spell. That includes you. But with your stuff, you have a way to play around it, and I will explain that in a minute. Now, I have yet to do this because I haven't played Bloom against Bloom Titan yet, or Titan Bloom, whatever you want to call it. You put it on 0, and they cannot play packs. They cannot. They are automatically countered. It does not matter. I've done that in Legacy against Ad Nauseam Tendrils, and it was hysterical. But really, you turn it on 1 against Affinity, and their Signal Pest, or you turn it on 2 even. They're Arcbound Ravager, they're Seal Overseer. Yeah, they're dead cards in their hand, so it's really good for you. Now, how you can play around this is because of this. Cavern of Souls. Taps for colorless. When it hits the field, choose a creature type. Add 1 mana of any color to your pool. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, and that spell can't be countered. This ability beats this ability. It's really good. Or if you have Aether Vial out, you just avoid this in general. That is my deck at this point. These are still spell skates. They're coming. I promise. TCG State Tournament for Ohio's in Streetsboro in about 2 weeks from now. This is the deck I will be playing. Now, this deck's best matchup would probably be the Control matchup or Splinter Twin postboard. I say that because they naturally run islands. You can take Spreading Seas out, which, yes, it does draw you a card, but it's also a 2-drop to do that, and there's better you can have. Like Torpor Orb. It just wrecks Twin. Pithing Needle can also wreck Twin. You know, you name Deceiver Exarch, you name Pestermite. They can't activate it. It's kind of hysterical. Trick Bind it. It's a good card. In the Splinter Twin matchup, that's really all I bring in because I've swung 16 on turn 5, Island Walk, against my Zoo aggro deck and beat it. Because, yeah, it has a tough time dealing with this deck. Other good matchup is probably Scapeshift, because we don't hurt ourselves with our land base. Scapeshift can usually do 18 damage. Well, without running fetch lands, which I would not recommend, it's pretty good. Also, by the time they get Scapeshift, we usually have a board presence and kill them, and we usually win the counter war at that point. Scapeshift, with you have Spell Pierce, Stubborn Denial, Remand to deal with it. I mean, you Spell Pierce it. If you have Feroce it, you can Stubborn Denial, and because they'll probably just end up going for it. So yeah, that's the deck. Have fun trying to build it.